Nova Guest List Podcast
with Kieran McGuinness.
The very best in indie, alternative and homegrown music from the seriously addictive Radio Nova.
It is Kieran McGuinness. It is the Nova Guest List. This is the All-Irish Hour. Just nominated for a radio show of the year, which is very nice, in the IMRA Awards. So thank you to everyone involved in that, and thank you for listening. We've got loads of great stuff on the way. We play stuff that we know you love, like Roller Skate Skinny, like Sinead O'Connor, things like that, and we play stuff that we think you're going to love. And today we are joined by the very, very talented Mr. Brian Mooney, who goes by the name The Next New Low. How you doing, Brian?
I'm good. Great to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. So the reason that we are here is because Brian and The Next New Low are released their new mini album called The Unreachable, and it is a fantastic, it's just kind of a gorgeous, kind of gentle, melancholic, beautiful, warm, rich mini album. 6 songs on it, and we're going to play a couple of those in a minute, but a lot of people might not know who Brian Mooney is, so I wanted to give you a little intro so you don't have to do it. Nobody likes doing their own intro. And so basically Brian is one of these brilliant musicians that you might not see or might not know, but he plays in tons of bands. He's made music for the last 20 years in bands like The Idiots, and he also has contributed and collaborated with loads of other acts. And he also runs a thing called Brian Vinyl, where he plays indie records and cool records in O'Regan's, isn't that right?
Brynel
Vinyl. Yeah, I get it. It's very good. Just one of these people who kind of lives music. And I suppose, so you call yourself The Next New Low. Can you tell us a little bit about your current incarnation?
Yes. Well, The Next New Low follows on from, Beautiful Unit, which was kind of colourful and a bit happier, and maybe even a little less focused, I think, as a project. But The Next New Low, this comes from my wife's cancer diagnosis, and the reality that things were stepping down constantly every time we went in to see into the hospital. So it's quite a dark, it's the next new low. So yeah, it's quite a very personal, dark journey. But I didn't stop writing songs. I can't stop writing songs. No. So it was actually during lockdown then. My wife had passed away, and I was in Wexford with the kids, just myself and the kids, and I released a thing. I only really just discovered Bandcamp then.
Yeah.
And that was a great outlet for me, and I released 5 songs that were all about that time, and it got an overwhelming response. It got a great response. I mean, there was an outpouring from people wanted to help and show support, I suppose. Not taking away from the music, but but that's where the name The Next New Low came from. And then
I was going to say, basically you took one of the most tragic, I guess, parts and moments in a person's life, and you've kind of channeled all that into music, and obviously difficult stuff in your own life, but the music is where we get access to this kind of outpouring, and there's just some gorgeous music on. I've played some on the show. I've been to see you. You've played with my band. I've played with your band, and it's the most authentic, one of the most authentic kind of experiences is listening to it and knowing the stories, because myself and my wife would listen to it and pore over it and feel a certain amount, obviously empathise as opposed to understand in that way, but and this new EP, this new mini album, The Unreachable, is I think it's the best thing that you've ever done, and it's such an amazing crystallization of that, so it's such a pleasure to have it out.
Well, I was just saying to a friend the other day, you don't write songs like these in a day, do you know? It takes a kind of a lot of life experience to get there. Yeah, that's my view on them. I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I'm just saying that that's what That's what seems to stand out from these songs, you know.
Yeah, well, look, we're going to talk about the EP in depth, but you know, you're a person who's connected to the Irish music scene in 100 different ways, whether it's playing with bands or working with bands or playing bands on Brinal vinyl. You know, so do you listen to a lot of modern music, or modern, like contemporary stuff that's released in the last year or two?
I'm afraid not.
Okay,
no.
That's fine. Well, that's good, because that's what I do in my spare time. So I want to tell you a little bit about this brilliant thing released by the record label Classic Hiss, which is a great name for a record label. So basically there's a 14-track compilation release coming out next Friday the 5th, and basically what is it's a load of Irish acts doing Pavement and David Berman tracks, and all in aid of raising money for Gaza, and it's a brilliant compilation of acts. There's also Silver Jews in there as well. And I'm going to play one of the tracks off it right now. This is sorry. First of all, the thing is called Classic Hiss, Boreens and Backroads, and it's out September 5th on Bandcamp. So the actual songs, there's loads of brilliant artists playing. Maya Sophia O'Boland, Trash Guzzler, Olivia is a Ghost, loads of people like that. But one of my favourite tracks on it is one of my favourite Pavement songs, Junk Drawer, and featuring May Kay. This is Cut Your Hair. I think you'll like this from Brian. And it's on Radio Nova. Brand new here. Yeah, I love that. That is Villagers, and a gorgeous live version, as you can hear, of Courage, and that's a beautiful song. Brian, you chose that one. Brian from The Next New Low, who's in with us tonight. You chose that one. You chose the other, Roller Skate Skinny, as well. Why did you choose these songs?
Well, I'll start with the Roller Skate Skinny one. Was back in the day in Temple Bar Music, Temple Lane recording studios or rehearsal studios. That's where I would have met the lads. We'd share a rehearsal room, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I remember that was something when you'd open the door of the rehearsal room, and the air would just push you. You'd be physically hit back. And sounded so good, you know.
Yeah.
They were actually they were Shake, I think, then. The first time I heard them, all right. But I was living with some of them at that time when they were recording this album in STS.
Oh yeah.
And I was kind of they'd come back from the studio every day, and I'd get an update of what we put down, and timpanis, and we'd layering, you know. So, you know.
And the Villager song, I think you have. So Conor O'Brien actually appears on a couple of your releases and assisted with some of the recording. Like, he must be very close, kind of musical.
Yeah. Well, he's a legend, you know, and a genius, and just a wonderful person. But yeah, he played flugelhorn on track 6 here, called Seagulls. That's on this record. And the previous thing I was talking about, the lockdown release, he helped me through that time, doing a lot of recording. A lot of the stuff I haven't released, but it was kind of like a great process that he was helping me through. So he's very generous, and he records a lot of people. He works with a lot of people and helps them out.
Well, this is it. Like, you're really connected to the kind of musical community. One of Soda Blonde, Adam from Soda Blonde, did your artwork. You know, Conor O'Brien from Villagers is playing on your album and helping you record other songs. You know, like,
that's right.
It's amazing. And I know that you play with amazing musicians. You play with Dan and Lizzie as well, and they play with other artists as well. And just being really connected to that artistic community is just so kind of powerful. And we're going to chat about it in a second. The new EP is called, the new mini album is called The Unreachable, and we're going to chat about that after this and play a couple of songs. We're talking to Brian from The Next New Low. How's it going so far, Brian?
Oh, it's going grand.
Okay, let's do it after this. It's Nova. Yeah, it's Radio Nova. It's Kieran McGuinness, and I am here on the All Irish Hour live with Brian from The Next New Low. Brian is an amazing local musician who has written just some of the finest songs that I've heard in a long while, and he's got a new EP out, a new mini album called The Unreachable, and we're going to chat about it now. Brian, it's a pleasure to have you in studio.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, so we're going to chat about the new EP, 6 tracks. It's the new Unreachable. It is. Is there a sort of an overall, theme or feel or something you wanted to put out that connects it, or was it just here's 6 songs that I wrote that were good and I liked?
Well, a bit of that, but I'm actually trying to get out of the next new low and maybe get a bridge to the next new high.
Okay.
And I'm not saying these are uplifting tunes or anything like that, but I mean they're not as so, you know, darkly focused on
yeah.
the other.
No, it does. But I think that it is. So the first, I think this might be your third sort of EP. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So the first one was, you know, pretty stark. It was rough, but it felt cathartic and therapeutic in a way. And this one feels like, you know, I know I don't want to speak for you, but from a listener's perspective, it feels more reflective and you know, you've moved through a few of the stages of grief, sort of thing, and there's a lot of beauty and understanding in it, it's I found it a very kind of warm, melancholic listen, you know. Yeah,
well, I like to think that it has humour in it, you know.
No, it does, yeah.
And that's the thing, you know. Whereas there wasn't really humour in the other songs, you know. Yeah. Up until now, so I think that the humour is going to be the link, you know, to my next new high, Imagination.
Yeah,
or you know.
Why don't we play a couple of songs from the EP now? I keep calling EP, sorry, the mini album, The Unreachable by The Next New Low. This song is called Nature. Can you give us a short kind of intro to it?
This song's called Nature.
Oh, that's great. That's ideal. It's Radio Nova. Yeah, is this the shirt I die in? That is Nature by The Next New Low, and I think you get what I'm saying when I talk about the clear melancholy, and there's clearly a bit of pain in there, but there's also a little bit of distance and humour, which is, you know, adds to it, I think.
Well, it makes me laugh.
That's enough, isn't it? Yeah. So it's but it's really warm. The album is excellently recorded. I was looking at the packaging to see where was this recorded, and it was recorded at home.
Yeah, but by James Smith, recorded it with me at home. We just used Casios, and we kind of put all those drums and beats. Everything is just little Casios going through, being reamped, you know. Yeah,
I love it. Absolutely great. So another track off the EP, which I don't know, there was a couple I could have played, but I really like this one. It's called Dick. It's by The Next New Low, and could you give us a little intro to it?
Well, yeah, this is about kind of trying to problems with relationships ever since trauma. So it's part of the grief thing.
No, I get it.
But it's kind of coming out of the grief thing, but it's the difficulty in trying to forge relationships.
Well, this is the thing, like, you have a kind of a unique perspective, obviously, because of your, you know, recent trauma and things like that, but it's multifaceted. There are 100 different challenges and stories and things that happen as a result of it, and being able to kind of vocalize and kind of turn them into songs is an amazing thing, because there is, you know, dark humor. There is, like, you know, unusual things that happen. A friend of mine, I have to be careful now, but a friend of mine, his father passed, and he was sitting there. It was very tragic, you know, at the end, and so he was cremated, you know, and I think as the coffin was going in, they started playing "Falling Slowly" by Glenn Hansard, and he doesn't like that song, and and he kind of got really angry during, you know, and it just took him out of it, which made him kind of laugh. Like, who chose that, you know? And all these kind of darkly kind of funny moments happen in the middle of these bizarrely kind of mad situations.
You gotta laugh. You just gotta laugh.
Yeah. Well, look, let's play it. This is track from The Unreachable. It is The Next New Low, and the song is called Dick. I just want to say, if you'd like to chat to Brian or ask him any questions or talk about the music we're talking about, 087 18 18 100. We'd love to hear you. It's Radio Nova. This is The Next New Low. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. That is The Next New Low from the EP, which is called The Unreachable, and that song's called Dick. And we're here with Brian from The Next New Low. How you doing so far, Brian?
Oh, I'm doing grand now. I'm settling in, I think.
You're settling in. You're getting ready. That's good. The songs... a couple of people have been in touch. Lorraine says, "This is beautiful. So great to hear, Brian."
Great, thanks.
Aileen says, love this, love his story. Yeah, there you go. So I think a part of the music you're making is the story. I think it's impossible to get away from that. It is, it enriches and kind of, tells there's a further connection to the songs as well because of that.
Yeah, well, as a songwriter, you don't ever stop writing songs. So you're living and writing songs. And I try to write about what's affected me at that moment. So
yeah, it's a kind of therapy as well. It's a way of processing what's going on. I'm going to play some brand new music now, just as an aside. This is a band called Asophonics, and the song is called Summer. And they're a folk duo, kind of indie folk duo from Carlow. This song just jumped out to me, Brian. You like this one? It's called Summer. It's by Asophonics. It's brand new on Radio Nova. We're going to be coming back with more from the next new low after this. Yeah, glorious. That is The Long Balconies by A Lazarus Soul. Brona's been on. She says, fantastic choice. Love that song. And also Fergal has been on, and he wants to know, he has a nice, lovely text, but it's praising Brian, but he wants to know where can he hear it live. So that's good news for our next topic, because Brian plays as the next new low. He's here with us live here on Radio Nova. If you've just joined us, we're chatting about his new EP, The Unreachable, which is just a stunning piece of work, I think. And you're launching it next Wednesday.
Well, thank you, Fergal, for asking that question.
Good man, Fergal.
Next Wednesday, the 3rd, in O'Regan's, in Georgia Street. And it's a launch. It's kind of just a get-together of anybody who wants to come along. We're going to play some songs from the record. We're just going to play about 5 songs and maybe get a little slice of pizza, and then I'm going to play it on vinyl. And it's free in. Come along.
That sounds amazing. Oh my God, it's the best gig I've ever heard of. So that's next Wednesday in O'Regan's, and it's a free launch, and it's going to be pizza. This is fantastic. And will the album be for sale at it?
Yeah, well, that's the idea. I'm not going to let you out unless you buy a record.
Okay, I say, it's free in, but it's it costs to leave.
Come on.
Fantastic. And you chose The Lazarus Soul, and as I said, Brona was a big fan of that one. Why did you choose A Lazarus Soul? Why are you?
Oh, well, I mean, it's obviously brilliant, but I sometimes, Brian has been very helpful to me, and I sometimes play guitar with him. For that song, we did this gig in Henrietta House a while ago, about a year ago, and after that we came out and sat in King's Inn Park, and he sang me Factory Fada, just voice,
just sang it,
sang it all, and I was in tears. It was brilliant. That's off the new album.
Yeah.
Like he's just such a brilliant songwriter, and himself and Joe and Julie and Anton are just brilliant as a band. And that's why I picked it.
They're incredible, but also they're these amazing kind of long-term just musicians who make music because that's what they do.
Oh, for all the right reasons.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We're going to chat about a couple of more songs that you have chosen, but we're chatting to Brian from the Next New Low. His gig, his launch for his new EP, which we're chatting about now, is next Wednesday in O'Regan's on Georgia Street. So go along to that. Absolutely fantastic. And let us know how you get on. We're going to play one or two of your songs, so your final choices, Brian, and the co-present tonight. 087 1818 100. We're going to do some questions after this, and please do get in touch. 087 1818 100 if you have any questions for Brian or anything at all really about the music. We can chat about that in a second. It's Radio Nova.
Radio Nova.
Yes, it's Radio Nova. It's Kieran McGuinness. We are here to celebrate on the All Irish Hour. We're here to celebrate the brand new EP by The Next New Low. And Brian from The Next New Low is here. The EP is called The Unreachable, and it's launched at a free gig next Wednesday in O'Regan's on Georgia Street. Brian, you've chosen another song for us by The Wormholes. Thank you for choosing this brilliant song. Tell us a little bit about The Wormholes.
Well, I grew up with The Wormholes. They're just geniuses, and they're part of my soul.
Yeah, that's perfect. So the Wormholes were around from 94 to 99, and just an amazing ability to mix kind of indie pop with like much harder, much more kind of, you know, interesting kind of fuzzy kind of alternative music. And this is from their debut album, Chicks Dig Scars. It's called 12 a.m. It's Radio Nova. Check this out. The Wormholes, absolutely fantastic. That is 12 a.m. from their debut album, Chicks Dig Scars. It's Kieran McGuinness, it's Radio Nova. This last hour we have been with Brian from The Next New Low to celebrate his new mini album, which is called The Unreachable. And that brilliant mini album, which is just a gorgeous kind of melancholic, warm, kind of rich, beautiful mini album. 6 songs all about, you know, life and death and joy and all that kind of stuff, and sadness and, you know, those kind of things. Is that a good description, Brian?
I'd say, yeah. Did you mention humour?
Humour as well in there. But anyway, so we've been choosing songs, and we're going to do a last song in a second. But a couple of questions in, a couple of notes in. So this is from Eddie, and he says, respect to Brian, and I absolutely love the latest song from Asaphonics, which we played. And Gary says beautiful songs, and he'll see you on Wednesday.
Woohoo!
There you go. Gary, say hello, and if there's a slice of pizza going to you, make sure you say thanks to the Nova guest list there, you know. Brian, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much. Best of luck with the new EP, The Unreachable, and best of luck with the Next New Low shows.
Thanks very much for having me in and giving me the chance to talk about it. You know, I appreciate it, and deserves on your nomination for the award.
No, thanks a lot. Yes, indeed. So why don't we do the last song? The last song it chose for today is Black Boys on Mopeds by Sinead O'Connor. Do you want to introduce it and tell us why you chose it?
Well, it's just such it's a killer track. I don't know much about it, but, you know, being Irish in 1990, what was it, 6 or something like that, and hearing this was, you know, amazing.
Particularly beautiful song, yeah. Sinead O'Connor, Black Boys on Mopeds, chosen by Brian from The Next New Low. This is the Nova guest list. It's Radio Nova.
The Nova Guest List Podcast with Kieran McGuinness. The very best in indie, alternative and homegrown music from the seriously addictive Radio Nova.